down on our backs. Hi, Lucy. So one red, one yellow, you're on your back. Just rest your feet on the foot bar, a little bit wider than hip width. Hands on your ribs. And just start to take a little rock from side to side with the knees. Inhale through center, exhale as we drop to the side. Arms down at your sides, shoulders nice and relaxed. Tiny tuck in your chin. Feel the back of your head fall heavy. Length through the back of your neck. Heavy through the back of your rib cage. Soft through the front ribs. Big breaths. Every time you exhale, try to let those hips go a little bit more. Nice and heavy across the low back. One more time, take it over to the left. And bring it back through center. Walk your feet about hip width distance apart. And then we're going to float the knees up into tabletop one at a time. You can bring your legs together or just hold your knees about hip width distance apart. Reach behind you and grab your short straps. Fingertips are going to reach up to the ceiling and anchor down across the back of your shoulders. We're just going to move the arms first. Big inhale, exhale, press down through the palms. Reach through your fingertips. Inhale. Float your fingertips right up over those shoulders. Exhale, press the palms down. Reach through your fingertips. You're like a burglar. Exhale, fingertips up to the ceiling. So we're just warming up here. Let's start to take this into a circle. Press the palms down. Open the arms out to a T. And then slide the thumbs back over the armpits. Press down. Open. And circle back. So I want you to try to focus on what your low back and your tailbone are doing. What the back of your rib cage is doing. Try to take any feedback out of that middle body and stay nice and stable. Last circle in this direction. And hold at the top. Belly in, shoulders down, knees over your hips. We take it in the opposite direction. Inhale as you lower. Exhale, squeeze the palms to your outer thighs. Inhale, float your fingertips up. And around, exhale as you press. So if you notice that those ribs are popping up, drop them down. Continue that movement. Feel the ribs soften together, like you're tightening up through your corset. Last two. Press, hollow out the armpits, start to wake up through the obliques. And up. Finish that inhale, exhale, press. Circle around up to the ceiling. Drop your feet down, drop those elbows wide to a goalpost. Just a little rock side to side, release any tension in the low back. So on this round, we're gonna add a little bit of spinal flexion and a little bit of movement into the lower body. So taking your fingertips up to the ceiling and again, floating those knees to table one at a time. We'll start with that straight press down as we peel up through the head, neck, and shoulders. Nice big inhale. Exhale, press down to through the palms as we peel up through the head, neck, and shoulders. Inhale. Stop when those thumbs are right over your armpits. I'm getting real jammed up into the shoulder blocks, so scoot down a little bit if you need to. Press, curl it up. Inhale. Bring it back. Reach. And back. We've got 4. Take it down. 3. Steady movement. Last 2. And on your last one, this is where you realize you missed me. Press it down, curl it up, and hold, legs long. We're just gonna tap those heels together. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Elbows wide. And just hang for a second, little rock. final set here. We're gonna continue with that little bit of spinal flexion. We're gonna add a little bit more work with those legs. So fingertips are gonna press down just until those arms hover over the mat. And again, we pull the knees back to a table. Anchor down through that tailbone and squeeze the elbows in toward your rib cage. Let's start with the arms. On your inhale, bend at the elbows so you look like a little T-Rex. Exhale, press the palms down, reach through the fingertips, flex through the back of the arm. Think about your triceps. 2 more like this just to find your form. Try not to rest those elbows unless you really need to. Last one like this. Now we add our flexion. Inhale, bend at the elbows. This time when you exhale and press, we peel up through the head, neck, and shoulders. Squeeze the belly, reach through the fingertips. Inhale, bend. So remember that curl up, that lift is up to you. And bring it back. Last one. And if you're watching, I just gave you a sneak preview. We're gonna add the legs. Last 4 reps. Press the palms, curl it up, reach through the toes. Everything comes back down. Exhale. 1 fluid movement. Arms and legs and torso move together. Just 2 more. And down. Last one, peel it up, curl it up, hold, legs are long. Pulse the arms, finish with your hundreds. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Belly pulls in, ribs pull in, reaching long through those fingertips. So you want to hollow out your armpits. You want length around your neck. Nothing crunching, no tension. Head comes down if you need to. Knees come back to table if you need it. You've got options here. Take them. You got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Elbows nice and wide. Rock the knees over to the right and over to the left. Cool, so we're gonna continue with some abdominal work, this time putting the straps over our feet. So I'm gonna say go for your long loops over the arches of your feet. If you prefer your short loops, you're welcome to take them. This is more of a leg stability movement rather than heavy leg work. So with your feet in the straps, find your external rotation. Heels together, toes apart, feet are in that V position. I want you to think about holding something between your heels. Something really important that you don't want to drop. Anytime those heels separate, that really important thing falls down. So arms are down at your sides. Let's start with the legs. We're going to bring it into our frog, bending the knees into your armpits, gliding your heels into your pelvis. Exhale, push the heels together, activate the back of those legs, squeeze. Arms relaxed, head, neck, and shoulders relaxed. So we're working in a core focused situation here, so I want you to really connect your legs to your low belly, to your pelvic floor. So as you drive through the heels, I want you to feel that really connected lift just below the navel. Think about everything engaging, wrapping up from your heels all the way to your belly button. Last 2. And of course, we're gonna add on last 1. Press, hold. Arms at your sides. And I want you to come up into that little spinal flexion. Head, curl up through the head, neck, and shoulders. Arms at your sides. And we're just gonna continue that movement with the legs for 6. Exhale as you press. Everything wraps up and connects. You're stronger than you were with every rep. 3 more. Press for 3. Nice work. Last 2. And on your last one, of course, we're gonna hold it. Point through the toes. Keep that little bit of that external rotation. Tiny circles with your big toe. So we're circling out of the hip joint. Carriage isn't moving very much. The deal is you're in total control. If you don't feel like you're in control, I want to see a smaller circle. Last 3, circling out. 2, circling out. 1, hold it, other direction, out. Tap the heels, out. 3, beautiful. Head can come down at any time. 2, and 1. Bring it down, soles of the feet together. Reintroducing yourself to those abdominals. Beautiful job, guys. Hold it here. And then we're gonna press those legs out. So legs are straight, 45 degrees, a little higher if you're feeling any tension in your low back. We're just gonna open and close, but I want you to imagine that there is something outside of your legs that's preventing you from pushing them open. Create your resistance. Push the legs out a little bit wider than your foot bar, and then exhale. Pull the belly in, squeeze the legs back together. So again, we're back to that exercise in control. Super easy to open and close those legs, but there's no work happening. Really think about flexing your feet, creating that resistance, activating your outer thighs, activating your glutes, and then exhaling, pulling everything back in, squeeze. Open. Awesome. Last one. And close. We're going to add a lift and lower with the upper body. So inhale, open, just like we've been doing. Push and squeeze. Exhale. As you squeeze the legs together, we're going to peel up into that crunch. Open. Squeeze it up. 4 more. Lower and open. Exhale, wrap it up through center. Last 2. I want you to feel that connection, upper and lower. Beautiful. Out. Last one, hold. Arms reach down at your sides, and I want you to pulse them one more time for those hundreds. Inhaling for 5, exhaling for 5, and if you want it, we add a little lift and lower with the legs. Final push in this series, in this movement. So try to give yourself a little bit more length through the arms, length through the neck. Exhaling as you pull the belly button in, inhaling as you fill those ribs wide with air. Beautiful. Pulse and pulse. Think about space and length rather than tension. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Head comes down. Find that butterfly stretch one more time. Grabbing onto your knots on your ropes. Let's just unfold the right leg. Reach your heel long. Flex your foot. Gentle pull back on that strap. And slowly bring it back through center. Reach it long. Through the left heel, heavy through the right hip. Bend your elbow, little pull back. 3, 2, and 1. Bring it in, legs go up. And we're going to take it into a short set of our leg circles. We open at the top, out, around and down. So I want you to think about this. We usually do these toward the end of the workout. I want you to think about this as more of a warm-up for your legs, a little bit of release from the work we've just done. Create that leg push through the heels, out and around. Awesome. So a little bit of stretch, a little bit of warm-up. Last one. Out and around. Hold it up at the top. Pause here. Let's press down lower. Open and around. Keep your upper body nice and relaxed. I like to flip my palms up here whenever I'm just trying to let go of something. Just automatically opens up across the chest. Breathe into the tight spots here. Last 2. And 1. Woo, all right. Bring it in. Slide those long limbs off. We're actually just gonna drop them down into the well. So don't hang them up. Don't reconnect them to the machine. Let's come all the way up. We're gonna take the yellow spring off so we're down to one red. And then hopefully you guys all have your boxes close by. We're gonna take our box and put it at the back of the reformer. So make sure you don't have those loops hung up on your bars. Box goes right on the back, right across the railings, right up against those back poles. Beautiful. Everybody's looking good. And from here, we're just gonna have a seat on that box. A little bit of hamstring work today. Everybody's making a good face. You know where we're going with these. All right. So we're gonna hook our heels over the shoulder blocks. And then once you're there, scoot back a little bit and sit up nice and tall. We're gonna pull up on those little handles right on the sides and just anchor through your sit bones, sit up a little bit taller. And once you feel like we're sitting up tall, imagine me right behind you, kind of right behind that back, making you sit up a little taller out of your sit bones. And we're gonna start by pulling the heels in, pulling the carriage toward the box. And extend. So don't let those legs totally lock out. You don't want to lose your work. You want to stay connected. So pull back and lengthen. Awesome. So a couple of options for your hands. Pulling up on those straps is a really nice sense of opposition and awareness. And then I want you to connect to the low belly. Pull your heels in toward the box and lengthen through the legs. Pull in through the belly. Sometimes if we can't get that feeling through the back of the legs, it feels real good to just squeeze the butt a little bit to connect. I like to sometimes bring my hands to the front of the box and push back a little bit. Play around with it, see what feels good. If you want to challenge your core, float your arms up or float them forward. Nice long set here. Starting to feel that burnout. Don't let your toes turn out. Everything in line. Hips, knees, toes. Belly pulls in, ribs pull in. You got 4, I know. Starting to feel it. Knees stay parallel. 3, pull up through the belly, squeeze. You got 2. And on that last one, we're gonna hold. Wherever those arms feel good, wherever you're lifted and sitting up your tallest, let's pulse for 10. 9, 8, a slow count. 7, we committed to it. 5, 4, 3, 2, let it go. Let the legs extend. You can let your feet come off of the blocks. Wherever you can relax your legs. So maybe they're hanging on the blocks, just turn them out to the sides. So turning out lets the hip flexors go. Arms up. We're just gonna reach forward for a little stretch. You can grab the blocks if you're close. If you're a little taller, that doesn't quite work. Just rest your hands on those shins. All right, we're killing those legs right in the beginning of class today. So one final set here. Guys are doing awesome. Heels hook back over. You're gonna scoot back a little if you need to, scoot forward a little if you need to. You wanna feel stable, but you wanna feel like you've gotta work through the core to stay lifted. So with those legs extended, I want you to turn your toes out. Think about your toes turning out about as wide as the rounded corners on your foot bar and sit up real tall. Knees, hips, third toe all in alignment. We're gonna exhale, pull back. So we have a little bit more outer thigh, squeezing through the glutes first. So if you're all the way turned out, you're not doing a ton of work. So you wanna find that middle ground, knees and third toe about as wide as your foot bar. And you're working on the way in. Lengthening on the way out without resting. Hands push to the front, they pull up, or we lift up for that challenge. So here's the deal. This position with that turnout, it makes us want to sink back. Really working through the low belly to lift. Awesome. You've got 5. 4. Beautiful. 3. Last 2. 1, hold. And we pulse. You're almost there. Do not lose that connection to the middle. That's the most important part of this whole thing. I got you. 5, 4. Core nice and tight. Sit up a little taller. Yes, you can. Last one. Lengthen out and relax. Turn those toes out and just take that little fold over. Awesome. So let's keep the box at the back. Stepping into your well. Little shake out. Let it go. We're going to go into a little bit of plank work. It's not a lot. One little set before we grab the straps for our arms. So I want you to take your elbows down to the box. And then very carefully, 1 foot at a time, step to the carriage. So this is your plank here. Push up into your elbows. Carriage is not going to move. Looking right down at the box, I'm going to talk you through all of this work. Flex your feet. Lift the kneecaps to activate the quads. Scoop through the belly, squeeze your butt. And I want you to think that you're pushing that box down into the floor as you're pushing the back of your rib cage up to the ceiling. All of that to wrap around and pull in through the belly. From that plank here, we're just going to take little leg lifts. Right foot lifts. Squeeze that butt cheek and down. Left and down. 2. Nothing else is moving. 3. Everything nice and strong. So if you're starting to lean forward into that box, push up. You're stronger than that. Beautiful. Belly in, glutes tight. Lead from your core. Last one on each side. And we're going to bring the hands to the box. Heels down, push back. Awesome. So anchor down through the heels. We're going to release that those hamstrings that we just pushed in that box work. Lift it high to your toes. And then slowly press the heels down. 4 more like this. Space around your neck. Arms nice and long. Looking at your toes here, you should be able to watch what your feet are doing. Release the heels down. Lift up. Lift up. Last one. Hold it up. Big inhale. Exhale, lower down as slow as you can. Pull the chest over the box and step it down into the well. All right. So we're going to put the box into our long box position, and we're going to stay on that 1 red spring. So bring it up. Box goes into long box. And we're going to 1 red spring. Once you're set up, you're going to take your straps and hang them back up on the silver bars. And then we're going to do some upper body work facing the back of our machine. So I'll turn around a little bit to give you guys some form coaching, but I'll set you up first. So let's have a seat on the box, and we're going to bring our feet into the headrest. Reach down and grab your straps. We're going to start with our short straps and the ropes crossed. So scoot back until you can squeeze the knees together and push your heels into the box. Pull your elbows into the rib cage, and we're going to start with some rotator cuff work. So with the elbows nice and close, your wrists are tucked. Exhale, squeeze the back. Right away, if the springs feel heavy, you're gonna slide your hands to your long loops. Squeeze the back, tuck the ribs. Draw the hands back. Knuckles stop when they're in line with your hips, in line with your knees. So we don't necessarily need to reconnect the hands. Awesome. Squeeze. You got 5 more. You want to feel that open and close. Beautiful. Nice and slow. Let's go for 4. I'm going to work with those long loops here. It's up to you. Last 2. Last 1. Hold. Shoulders down. Pull the ribs in. We're going to punch the knuckles out to the sides of the room. Pull back in. So think about pulling the belly in first. Pulling those ribs in. Awesome. You got 4. Hi, Pedro. 3. Nice and strong through the back here. Don't give up on me. Last 2. Last 1. Bring it down. Shoulders roll. Shake it out. And we're going to uncross those straps. So I want you to scoot back for this one. Straddle the legs around the box. And look down at your knee. You want to keep your knee behind your toes. So your legs are kind of in more of a parallel position. Pull the elbows in. Actually, don't pull the elbows in. All right. I want you to keep your arms long. Flip your palms up. Squeeze the box, engage the core, and then take it into a bicep curl. Inhale, extend like there's something heavy behind your hands. Exhale, belly in, ribs in. Squeeze the box and curl. Connect. Just like we did in that very first series, upper and lower body working together. Awesome job, guys. All the puppies running around. Last 4. Lengthen the arms. 3. A little bit of length. 2. Feel that back engage, those strong back muscles. Last 1, I want you to hold. Elbows resting on a shelf. We lift up 1 inch and down. It's a deliberate lift. You can always float it to those long loops if you need it for that finisher. Think about squeezing a ball between your elbows. You got 4. 3. So good. Last 2. And 1. Bring it down. You can fold forward right over those legs. Awesome. So we're going to hang up the right strap. You can hang it right on your shoulder block. So it's kind of just close to grab again when you need it. And we're going to take the left strap in the right hand. Sit up tall, squeeze the box. And even though that arm wants to pull across because you're grabbing the opposite rope, I want you to try to start with that right thumb just in line with the right shoulder. Left arm reaches forward. We're going to take it into our rotation. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, squeeze the box. Pull the right elbow back. Create that opposition between the left fingertips and the right elbow. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, squeeze the box. Inhale, center. Squeeze the box, lift the belly. Awesome. Four more. Awesome. 3. Focus on squeezing the shoulder blades together. Right shoulder stays down. 2. And on your last one, pull back and hold. Drop the right shoulder. Reach through the left fingertips. Squeeze the knees together. Lift the belly. Pull the shoulder blades together for 3. Little deeper. 2. And 1. Bring it back through center. Hang up that left strap on the bar, grab the right loop, and bring it into your left hand. Roll the shoulders down and back. Remember, we start and finish square to the wall in front of you every time. Squeeze the box, extend the arm, thumb in line with your shoulder. Exhale. Inhale. So right fingertips are reaching and pulling in the opposite direction of the left elbow. By doing that, we're squeezing the mid-back. Steady through the center, steady through the lower body to create that movement in the upper body. 4 more. Nice work, guys. 3, 2. On that last one, we're gonna hold, pull it back, reach in opposite directions, drop your shoulders, squeeze the box, sit up a little bit taller. 3, 2, and 1. Release that strap, hang it up, and let's step off to the right and just walk around to the front of our machine. Little stretch, nothing crazy. Walk your feet wide, bring your hands to the corners of the box, and I want you to think about almost a down dog position. So your hips are anchored over your heels, hands are at the corners, and we're just gonna hinge forward. So think about pushing the box away, but also pushing your tailbone back up against a wall. So we're not just hanging over the foot bar, we're peeling our mid-body apart. Push down through the heels, and then slowly rise up. So it's almost like a hinge. So I know sometimes we do this kind of like a cat-cow. I want you to keep your back fairly flat. So you're just coming back to that starting position. Hinging at the hips, soften your knees, push the butt back a little bit, and rise up. Last 2. And bring it back. And on your last one, I want you to hold it. Anchor down through the heels, pull up through the belly, hollow out your armpits. And we're gonna take it into a little push-up with the box. Inhale, bend your elbows wide. Exhale, press away. So bracing right around those lats. As you're pressing, I want you to really feel that work right behind your armpits. Press, pull back. So I kind of turn my hands in a little bit on this one. I like how it really gets me into the lats, into the ribs. You've got 4. 3. Last 2. Last 1. Bring it all the way in. Roll it up. And roll your shoulders down and back. So a little finisher for the upper body, we're gonna take it into our push-ups. So hands down on the bar, step your feet back one at a time, and flex through the feet. You can always walk your feet a little bit wider. If you're on a surface that's slippery, grab a yoga mat and just put it underneath you. And once you're here, just gonna take it into 4 push-ups. Bend at the elbows, press. 3, no break in that body. Last one, that might have been 5, but you know us in counting. Set it back. 3, 2, 1. Feet shouldn't even move. We just lift to the toes, pull the chest over the bar, 4 push-ups. Last 2. Last 1, push it back and down, hold for 3, 2, 1. You've got 2 more rounds. We pull the chest over the bar, push up for 4, 3, connect to that mid body, 2, 1, hold, push it back, sit it back, 3, 2, 1. Last round. This is where it burns a little bit, but you got it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Press it up, push it back, and then slowly drop your hands down to the floor one at a time. Scoop through the belly and roll yourself all the way up. So good. All right, let's take the box down. You can just put it back in front of your machine. And let's load up our springs. We've got 3 reds and a blue. So going into some footwork with some real focus on that leg work. So lay down on your back. And just take a second to find that spine. Just like where we started today, we'll start and finish this class laying down on our backs. So let's start just in a really simple parallel position. Heels or a little bit closer to the arches of the feet on the bar. Anchor down through the tailbone. And let's press it out on our inhale today. Pull back down on the exhale. Inhale to press. Exhale, pull back down. So continuing that focus on the back of the body, on that posterior chain. Try to think about how you were feeling when we were doing that work sitting up on the box before. That's what I want you to feel on the way in. As you pull the carriage down, imagine that you're fully loaded with springs on both edges. So we're not only pressing away a heavy load, but we're also pulling back in. Maybe you imagine you've got that little ball right between those knees. Beautiful. Last 4. Nice and steady. Long reps today. 3. Think about those inner thighs wrapping up and in, that deep squeeze in the glutes, that lift in the kneecaps. 2. Pull back down. Feel that lift right behind the back of your legs. Last 1. We press all the way out. We resist it in only halfway this time. Soften through the ribs, especially if you started popping up. And we start in our hold. Think about that hold like you're in a wall sit. So you're pushing your back down into the mat, finding all of those heavy neutral points. But you're also pushing up away from the bar with your feet without actually moving it. So we're activating the back of the legs. All right, we're gonna pulse in 3, 2, 1. Let's pulse it out for 10. 5, control it. 3, 2, press it all the way out. Bring it all the way home. And let's just slide it right down to the balls of the feet. So you want to think about the balls of your feet on the bar and your toes kind of wrapping around the bar like you're a little bird on a perch. That imaginary ball is still between your inner thighs, so we are even and parallel. Press the carriage out. And again, use your exhale, draw in through the belly, pull it back in. Inhale, extend. Exhale, pull back. So we want to try and find a balance in the pace. That controlled movement up, that controlled movement down. Rather than a strong press out and a slow pull back or a quick pull back, maybe counting to 3, 2, 1. Exhale, pull down. 3, 2, 1. That tailbone never pops up. Pull it back. So this is a moment where you can be relaxed a little bit through your neck, through your shoulders. And you can really engage without tension, just pulling in through the ribs, pulling in through the belly, and then focus the work from those hip bones down. Awesome. You got 4. Core tight, pull back. So even though we're laying down, we're active. We're just not stressed. Last 1, press out. And we're gonna come down halfway. So I want you to really work that hold here. This is a spot where that torso really wants to pop up. Soften your ribs, lengthen the arms, and hold. Keeping those heels lifted means our calves are working a little harder. You'll notice if you're tired, the hips are starting to fall down. Push them up. Push that back down into the mat. Use your whole body to create a sense of stability. We're gonna pulse in 3, 2, 1, pulse it out. Everything active and strong, but nothing clenched here. Pulse, pulse, pulse. You've got 4. Belly in, legs engaged. 2. Last 1. Press it all the way out. And from here, we just alternate that little calf raise. So like you're going for a jog on the foot bar. This one always feels really good to me. I have very tight calves most of the time, especially with a lot of that body weight work we've been doing. So really maybe pause at the edge of each one. If you know it feels good for you to kind of take a little run with it, go for that bounce. Just leave your hips even. We got about 30 more seconds here. Just breathing into it, finding that stretch where it feels good. Pulling in through that low belly. So we always want stability before movement. Let's take 2 more on each side. And when you're feeling nice and even, lift it up high on your toes, and then bend the knees, bring the carriage all the way down. This time, let's hold in our butterfly, soles of the feet together, outside edges of the feet down on the bar, knees wide. And just take a couple of nice deep breaths here before we take our work wider on the bar. Awesome. So just like the first round, we're gonna start on our heels and progress to our toes. Heels are on the wide, rounded corners of the bar, and your toes are turned out just slightly. Again, coming back to that seated work we did, we don't want to let those legs just fall out to the sides. We want a little lift, we want to keep them active. Exhale, let's inhale on the way out again. And exhale, push through the heels, pull the carriage down. So inhale to lengthen. Exhale, we connect deeply with the back of the body. And a great way to connect with the back of the body is to connect to that low belly. So that feeling of really reaching your tailbone right down and through that foot bar. And then feel that energy come up the low belly, feeling that belly button pull up and in. Pull the carriage down, working in both directions. Outer thighs, glutes nice and engaged. Strong through the core so we're not pulling any extra tension into the hip flexors. They're working, they're just not leading the way. 4. Nice long sets here. 3. Pull it back in. Last 2. And on your last one, you know where we're going now. Press it out. Bring it down halfway. And I want you to feel that opposition in the hold. Pushing into your heels to activate the back of your legs without moving the carriage. Pulling up through the belly. Lifting that muscle to bone. Pulling up and in through the inner thighs. Lifting through the quads. Pushing down into your tailbone, down through that mid-back. Holding here. Starting to feel that little shake. Support it with that lift in the belly. Let's pulse it for 10. Focusing on those little squeezes, those little connections. 5, 4, 3, 2, press it out, pull it back, and with those feet wide, my favorite little stretch, that rock, side to side. Bug. All right. So keeping that wide external rotation, keeping your knees in line with your third toe, we're just gonna slide the balls of the feet down to those corner edges of the bar. Reset if you're starting to pop up through the ribs, just find those neutral points, little tuck in the chin, never hurt anybody. And on your exhale, we just start that press. And pull back down. I did it again. Let's inhale on the press. Really exhale to pull down. Focus on that posterior chain. This is a nice one to let your heels kind of fall into that negative space of the bar. Feeling work and a stretch as the carriage pulls down. Press. Exhale, lift the belly. I want you to feel a lot of sensation across that low belly. And that space between your hip bones, that space 1 or 2 inches below the belly button. So remember, that first set of presses is a nice long set. Feel that squeeze, feel that connection. Come on back. We got 4. There it is. Beautiful. Feeling where you need to relax, where you need to activate to keep everything moving nice and steady. Control that breath. Last one, we press it out, bring it down halfway. Now I want you to lift it. Lift your heels, lift it to your toes, and this is where we're gonna hold. Check in with those knees, especially when we come to the toes, we start to reach out to the sides. Want that little diagonal, knees in line with that 3rd toe. Push up through the ball of the foot, pull the belly up and in, little tiny. Reach down through the tailbone. Soften your ribs, lengthen through the side waist. Tuck your chin if you started to tense. This is where it gets a little shaky. I don't want you to move just yet. You've got 3, 2, 1. Let's pulse. Controlled pulses. So I never like to look at a pulse as a bounce. It's like a teeny tiny press. 1 inch up, 1 inch down. That way, at that pace, you can monitor what the rest of your body's doing. My ribs always like to pop up. Last 3, 2, 1. Press it all the way out. And let's inhale. Drop the heels deep below the bar. And just hang out here for a second. Let something go. Adjust your feet if you can get a deeper stretch. Let's start to move. Exhale, pull the belly in, lift it to your toes. Inhale, sink it into your stretch. Exhale, lift. Inhale, sink it low. Beautiful. And lower. Let's go for 3. Last 2. And 1. Reach through those heels and real slow. Enjoy that stretch. Bend the knees. Bring it down. Awesome. Little rock. And let's just keep the arches of the feet on the bar. Walk your feet about hip width apart. Cross the right ankle over the left knee. And even out the tailbone, even out the hip bones, just down on your mat. And we're going to use the tension of the springs to pull us deeper into the stretch here. I like to bring my right hand to the right inner thigh. We're going to inhale. Press the carriage out about 3 or 4 inches. It's not a big press. Exhale, bring it down slow. Feel how you deepen that stretch in the back of the right leg. Good. Inhale, push away 1 or 2 inches. Exhale, don't change the shape of your legs. Just sink back down into your stretch. 2 more. Press away. Pull back. Last one. Press. Pull back down. You should be in the deepest part of your stretch right now. I want you to take your hands, curl up through the head, neck, and shoulders, and reach for the back of that left leg. Clasp your hands behind it, and then roll your head back down to the mat, pulling your leg with you, taking that left foot off the bar. We're just gonna hold here. Maybe you rock it side to side. If this doesn't feel good to lay down with your hand clasped behind your thigh, let your foot rest on that foot bar. Let your head and neck relax. Peel your collarbones open. Every time you exhale, pull that leg a little bit closer. 3, 2, and 1. Release your hands, release your foot to the foot bar, and uncross that right leg. Little rock side to side, because it feels so good. And then bring your feet back to the bar. Left ankle crosses over the right knee. And take a moment to just find that feeling through the back of the body. I like to bring my left hand to that left inner thigh. And once I find it, then we start to move. Push away from the bar 1 or 2 inches and really use your exhale, focusing on the same principles we worked on all the way from the beginning of this class. Feeling the back of your body just sink a little bit deeper into the stretch. It's a tiny movement, and it's just really bringing your mind to muscle. Last one. Awesome. So from here, we're going to take our hands as we peel up into our spinal flexion, clasping behind that right thigh. Keeping the left knee open, we roll back down to the mat, pulling the right heel off of the bar. So from here, maybe this is your tighter side. It doesn't quite feel as good. Maybe you don't pull in quite as close, but using your exhales to pull the leg in a little bit closer to the body. Trying to get those shoulders to anchor down, little tuck in the chin to pull the tension out of the back of your neck. Releasing any tension you might have created today. Last big exhale. Unclasp your hands, release your foot to the bar. And now nice and deliberately take both knees over to the right side. You can bring your hands around, grabbing your shoulder blocks, anchoring down through the left shoulder. Soften through the chin and maybe look over that left shoulder. And focus on your exhales. Inhale, maybe you relax out of it a little bit. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper, deepen that twist. One more breath. Slowly bring everything back through center, including your head. And then we drop the knees over to the left. Right shoulder anchors down. Maybe we take the gaze over that right shoulder. Big breaths every time you exhale. Feel that nice big stretch from your armpit all the way through to your knee. Last 2. And as you finish that last exhale, bring it back through center. And slowly come on up. Walk around to the front of your foot bar. Even though that box is there, don't worry about it. Hands come to the bar. Anchor down through your feet. And we're just going to pull back, just like we did earlier. Only this time I really want you to focus on the pull. Like your hands are just hooks on the bar, and your body weight is pulling you back. Let your head hang. Let your shoulders float down and back. Let's bend the right knee, sway over to the right side as you deepen the stretch through that left shoulder. Back through center. Sway over to the left as you stretch through the right. Pull it back in. Bring your hips over your heels, soften your hands to the box, tuck your chin. Roll it all the way up, down and back. You guys are all done. Nice job today.